And I challenge this House, the sanctity of this House, without damaging its integrity. I speak very clearly out of a clean conscience that building this nation includes the building of Manipur. If you do not want to build my state, then you have no right to govern it. What has happened to my state today? Who is responsible for this? I know you have imposed President's rule today. What has happened to the man who was running the show for nearly 2 years? Is he behind bars? The least I expected was for an inquiry to be initiated, because the whole world knows he is on tape speaking that he initiated this entire crime. Is it not shameful that the head of an executive of a state can execute such a gruesome crime and yet remain unscathed? I did not expect this, Mr. Chair, sir. I have had more faith and hope in my Prime Minister and my Home Minister. Today, it is diminishing by the day. There is still time, and my conscience is clear. Believing in a law that is enshrined in our Constitution, believing in a nation that goes by the rules of law, not by appeasement, you don't have a right to bring in legislation whenever you choose if it is not for the people. Today, this budget that I speak of is anti-people in Manipur. Why? Because you talk of the 60,000 that have been displaced today. All of their homes ravaged, burnt, broken, damaged, they are all displaced. There is no reflection in the budget for those displaced. The damage I hear, which was done by separate entities, has crossed 20,000 crore. I do not see anything of that sort. The entire budget is not even worth that. Mr. Chairman, sir, maybe my state is a small state, but we are not a small people. We are also equal in every way to this nation. I would implore upon the conscience of this House again, my rising to speak again and again, if it is not making sense to this august House. Give me the privilege and opinion and the opportunity to relinquish my seat and not come back here again. Coming here and speaking again and again and not being heard and not being executed at ground level. Do you know how painful that is to go back home to an empty home, to people in the streets who don't have any place to go to? And today you bring in a budget that does not address a single part of those affected today.
Shame.
Shame.
Shame. Shame.
I wonder. My blame was solely on one person in the state. I had concentrated everything there. I had hoped for more from the leadership of my nation. I still hope on more from the leadership of my nation. Mr. Chair, sir, before I close, this constitution is sacred to each member here in this august House. I need not remind anybody. I have quoted the rule of law. It is a point of order that cannot be bypassed. The budget has to clearly say, this is a notification of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Today the state is being run by the Ministry of Home Affairs. I am closing, Mr. Chair, sir. The hill-valley section separation is mandatory. There is no separation of that. How would we know which is going to hills, which is going to valley? Nobody would know anything. And for that reason, I would request the Honourable Finance Minister to put this off, bring in the actual budget and the demands for grants so that we can go into the discussion of what is going into the hills and into the valley, and a little bit of the pain and hardships that the state is going through. I wish and I hope and I pray that this House together we can solve. Thank you, Mr. Chair, sir. Thank you for giving me time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alfred Arthur. Sri Sasank Mani Tripathi.